Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanine. So we have an article here today. This is on thecryptobasic.com. I think this is some of the best news possible coming out of Ripple in a long time. And don't get me wrong, they do a lot of great things. They have a lot of major partnerships. They're building corridors all over the place, but you never want to lose sight of the future. You have to have innovation coming in future times. And there's no better way to do that than to have the newer generations, the younger generations, learning about your blockchain, building on your blockchain. Some of the most brilliant projects come out of the young minds that start up a business once they get out of college, or maybe sometimes they don't even go to college, but they may attend some college programs. Okay. And then they're building on your blockchain. They're learning about blockchain technology, and they have all of these innovative things that they're able to build and bring to the chain once their business is up and ready. So some of the best projects come out of that. A lot of other blockchains know that. Look at Algorand, with what they're doing with the universities and colleges in Florida. I believe they also did some things like that in Europe. Stellar also has these college programs, things of that nature. And now we have Ripple here doing a similar thing. This is from thecryptobasic.com. University of Wyoming launches Ripple blockchain collaboratory to support crypto research and education. This is a great thing. We need more brilliant minds building blockchain technology. And I want to say this also. In order for blockchain in the future to serve the purpose, I think one of its original purposes was to make sure that people have financial freedom. And it's sort of spread out into freedom in all different types of ways. Like you don't have to have, you can do certain things without people knowing your information, without the banks and corporations being able to take your data. In order to keep that aspect alive, and you have to continue to innovate. You have to continue to stay ahead of those systems so they don't completely take it over. Now, don't get me wrong. There has always been the possibility that the legacy systems can take over a large portion of a system. Look no further than the internet, right? I mean, there's a huge swath of the internet that they don't even allow people to go to. They don't even allow people to know it exists. That's called the dark web, right? They bring you this sanitized version that they want you to use. That's what we use now. So this happens with all innovative technologies. That doesn't mean that people have to let the body of crypto die, the original purpose of crypto die. They don't. So let the legacy system have their fill, make a lot of money off that, and then bring it back over to the side where you want to cultivate freedom financially and in all other ways possible. That's how you do that. This is chess, not checkers, but they're always going to find a way to sort of weave their way in. There's also, they also have the propensity to fumble the ball. They do a terrible job. That's why you stay innovative. You look at the past and see where other technologies have failed in the past to maintain that position of freedom, that position of power, right? Where they could be independent of the legacy system, but they gave up, they sold out, right? Okay. Learn from that, right? Learn from that, right? And this is going to happen no matter what, because let's say like with protocols like XRP, and don't worry, we're going to get to articles, but I want to say this because someone sort of put this on my mind. So I've been thinking about it a little bit. But when it comes to the bank coins like XRP, XLM, Algorand, remember, if and when any of us makes generational wealth or becomes rich off of these things and such like that, make a lot of money, that's just a bonus. But you're not actually making a huge dent in like the assistance of the legacy system, because they're banks. They can just print money. The Fed can just print money. And that's what they're going to do. To get into something, they're going to print their fiat currency, which is backed by nothing. Well, it's backed by their military, but you get what I'm saying. They'll just print more of that money and they'll take it over that way. So it's not, so even with what they call whales involving themselves in the bank coins, that's not going to make a dent in assisting these individuals. What you can do is take that generational wealth, whatever money that you get from that, let's say in the future, if you're against those systems, you really don't like centralization, you don't like that control, that totalitarian control that a lot of these governments and central bank entities have over countries and people, you can take your wealth and then you can bring it back to, like I said, projects that you believe in, and then allow those to flourish, assist in the flourishing of those particular technologies to maintain financial freedom and freedom in all other ways. So there's a bit of strategy that has to go into these particular things. You can also make sure that your family is taken care of forever, live better schooling, whatever it is that you want. But you can also allocate funds towards the pushing forward of technologies that will actually be beneficial to the ideas that you support, right? I think that's the most neutral way that I could possibly put that. But we have it here. Let's read this little tidbit from the article. And it begins as such. It's a fact that Ripple hasn't been hitting the headline for good reasons as of late. Okay, I don't know why you would start the article that way. Let's continue on here. The blockchain company has been embroiled in a legal tussle with the US SEC. However, Ripple is now in the news for what looks like a really great development. I agree. So this is a great thing. Apparently, the University of Wyoming has seen value in Ripple's vast blockchain system and is planning to set up a Ripple blockchain collaboratory to help campus education and research projects. Let's scroll down just a little bit. Just bear with me for a moment here. The collaboration will be expansive enough to cover several departments within the campus. So they're going all in. These include law. We need that. I think I said this last year. We need brilliant minds to come forward out of the universities and college systems that will be able to fight. They understand crypto. They understand blockchain technology. And they know the law. They have their law degree. They move into the system, advance in the system, and are able to fight for crypto in the future. Because crypto, and I hope that it continues to advance. XRP will continue to advance. XLM will continue to advance, and they're all upgrading at an exponential rate. Algorand will continue to advance. And so the technologies will continue to change, which means that policy would need to continue to change to adjust to what type of assets they will become. They're not the final version of themselves, but what they're going to is something very powerful and great, in my opinion. So we need minds, understanding minds in the legal system that can help pass laws, fair laws for crypto. This helps with that. That's huge. We need minds in the governments that will help, and central banks, because they do have sway over policy. The supervisory entities, that is. We need minds within those systems that are going to pass fair policy for crypto and keep crypto in mind, right? As crypto is the new financial system it is. So another thing I want to add in, we've seen so many articles lately just trashing Bitcoin, but as not a financial, it doesn't have a future as a financial offering, right? Just a store of value, but not a cryptocurrency rail, which I agree with. But remember that they use Bitcoin as a term that is synonymous with crypto as a whole. So that's very dangerous how they put that, because what it does is when the lay person, the commoner, hears Bitcoin, they immediately think crypto. So now when they're reading the article, a lot of people don't read the entirety of articles. They just don't. I know, because they tell me, they say, hey, Mick, we don't have time. I understand that. They have families, they have work, they may not have time to read articles, but they read the headlines. So when they read the headlines saying Bitcoin does not have a financial future, something like that, right? What they read is, follow me here, right, is crypto doesn't have a future. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Don't get me wrong. I think 99% of cryptos are going to go away. It has to. A lot of crypto, unfortunately, and that's what's holding back the wall of legacy system money. We do want to take their money, by the way. We don't have to support the legacy system. I personally don't. I don't really care. I'm just here to make money. But we do want that money to come in, and we'll take that money. And once you have that money, you have the choice to do what you think is best. You can reallocate that money, do something great with it for yourself or for others, whatever it is. But you now have the choice. The power is in your hands, right? But the lay person reads that headline and they read not that Bitcoin doesn't have a future, but crypto doesn't have a future. And I know that the legacy system understands this. And that's the way that they're using that title, Bitcoin. They're weaponizing it. But if we can have people coming out of universities like this is huge. This is major, especially when it comes to such an important crypto, which in my opinion, XRP is one of the most important crypto. We need this to happen. There's a lot more I could say, but let me get back to the article, okay? On his part, the Ripple Blockchain Collaboratory will come up with courses. Ooh, so they're going to have classes and provide learning resources to UW students. Let me say this also. This needs to happen in more universities. You know why? Because governmental officials can take some of these courses. They don't have to just do it in their offices. A lot of times the courses, the learning curve, the educational things that they offer in those offices is subpar. You and I both know that. Listen, those governmental entities can fund their people to go to some of these colleges, universities, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a week, or 2 days out of a week, 3 days out of the week, and be educated by some brilliant minds that actually understand crypto, not by a program on a computer, but by an actual professor that could take them hands-on and mold their minds into understanding the nature and essence of what crypto is. We need that heavily. So this will come in handy that way as well. So now they don't have to worry about a supervisor or someone else, someone who's in charge, trying to educate the people. Oh, they do that sometimes at these particular institutions. No, you can send them to these colleges, right? Maybe the colleges offer these classes to governmental entities for free. I don't know. But then at least there's programs available where they can get that education curve on what blockchain is, how to use that technology, how to use XRPL, how to use these the liquidity hub, how to use XRP as a liquidity pool or an agnostic bridge currency, these types of things. We are going to need that. This is huge, okay? Take it seriously. If you want that long-term money, you want that big money. These are the small integral things that we have to look at. This is chess, not checkers, and I play a hell of a game of chess, okay? Let's continue on here. The program is open to both graduates and undergraduates at the university. Okay, so there you have it. So even if those governmental employees who have a huge learning curve, Bank of International Settlements just told us that in a recent document, and the IMF did as well, but their document was about like a PDF was about a month ago. They released that. If you're looking for those, I don't remember the particular names of them, but they're not that difficult to find. So even if you have your degree, your bachelor's, master's, PhD, you can still go back. So they have programs for graduates as well, so there's no excuse. This is a great thing. Let's continue on here. Quote, as the global economy becomes more digital and fast-paced, innovations such as blockchain and cryptocurrencies are becoming more of the norm rather than the exception. Exactly. Listen, I firmly believe that the new monetary system, the new financial system is actually greater and better than they ever anticipated. This is why they're under pressure now. You see all the things happening with CBDCs, right? Didn't I put out the video? I don't remember if it was a regular video or a members only video the other day. But anyway, Europe is moving forward with their digital euro. Okay, so if you didn't know, now you know. All right, that is huge news. That is so much money that could be poured into XRP. Remember, XRP Ripple is a part of the Digital Euro Association. Don't you ever forget that. We want that European money. So they're under pressure. This is why they're all rushing to issue their CBDCs now, because they know if they don't, the new financial system will take them over. Mark my words, it's better than you think. No intermediary fees. Anybody can use them. And on top of that, they will lose the control of the data. The data is very important. Watch that last members only video that I put out. They're concerned about the data. That data is so important to them. To take away access to that data, or for them to miss out on that data, like your name and your address in conjunction with where you spend your money and where you're using your money, without that data, they lose a lot of their power. This is how they are able to get certain loans, loan rates and things like that, and issue certain things to countries and individuals. That data is important on every level. They're afraid. They're afraid that if they miss the boat on this, they won't have access to that anymore. Do you know what that means? That means the new financial system will take over almost completely. It would be easier than we think, because now people would get used to not having their data stolen or sold, or, you know, they would get used to the privacy, and they would feel that there's no reason to provide this to a bank anymore because they have something better in crypto. Crypto wallets need to start updating and streamlining themselves at a rapid pace. We can take more than I think people are anticipating. And that money, this goes back to that money. That money will be bigger because of it. I would rather crypto take over everything outright. But I do understand that there's a certain fire we have to walk through with the legacy system because they have money and power. So yes, I understand there's the possibility that we may have to congeal with this archaic, old, antiquated system. I understand that completely. This is how it's happened for many technologies in the past, as I said before. But I would rather crypto take over. So I think that Ripple knows that they can. I think Stellar knows. I think Algorand definitely knows. So that's why they're sort of staying quiet and let these regulations pass. Let's be quiet until then. And then when the regulations are passed, there's regulatory clarity, then they will explode. And then may the dice fall where they may. I think that's what the approach that they're taking. And I think it's a good one. It's a very strategic one. Remember, people, this is a very delicate game. We have to sort of, as crypto, we have to step very lightly because of the power of the governments. Mostly, it's not really the central banks, it's the governments who have deep ties with the legacy system. So we want to sort of play nice until we get the regulations that we want. Once we get the regulations that we want, it's anybody's game then, because we're going to take off sprinting, right? And I think we can sprint much faster than the legacy system anticipates. So let's continue on here. So rather than the exception, it is important that the law keeps up with these changes. And Wyoming has become a global epicenter of the development of rules and regulations in this increasingly important space. See, I knew it. I knew it. And this is like a chess piece in a key position. In a key position. We need this university there. So there is the possibility, of course, it's not a guarantee, but there's the possibility that a lot of these students that come out of this particular university, this college, will end up in that governmental system where they can enact certain things for fair rules and regulations for crypto. Let me read that one more time. This is so important. This is something I definitely want to keep an eye on. I want to get an update on, know what courses are they offering, are there any institutions that are going to be working with them? What's their expansion plans? Things of that nature. I want to know, and we should keep up with this. Don't worry, we have more articles we're about to cover. Just give me one moment. This is so important. I wanted to delve a little deeper with this. It says, and Wyoming has become a global epicenter for the development of rules and regulations. This is great and at the right time, where we have maybe less than a year left. And that's if they don't force the case. Remember, the judge rearranged the calendar in an attempt to force the case to be over by the end of this year. So we may have possibly less than a year left before this case is over. We need something like this to start now. We don't need it later. We don't need any more holdups, okay? So remember, there are multiple floods of money that are going to come in. The first one will be the retail flood, the FOMO flood. And that will also come from the institutions. I consider them like the small businesses and like the so-called whales of today. I consider them retail as well, right? That's the first flood that will enter crypto. I mean, the legacy system of money. My apologies. The legacy system money, the legacy system whales that have not entered yet. And their money is on the side and has remained on the side. We all know that. That's the first flood. Then will come the large business institutions and commercial banks. That's the second flood. And then the tsunami comes. But these all happen at different times. So the immediate floods are the retail floods, of course. And then right behind it, another one that could be immediate, these small businesses, large business institutions and commercial banks. It's going to take a little bit longer for the central banks. That tsunami, that's where I'm looking at 4 years to 5 years, sort of like what the Bank of International Settlement said and JP Morgan. Those documents are easy to find. And a lot of my subscribers have downloaded them. They do a great job and they're tremendous researchers at this point. Some of them are even better than I am. If they had YouTube channels, some of my subscribers, if they had YouTube channels, they would have some great YouTube channels. And I actually hope that a lot of them start some YouTube channels at some point because their research, sometimes they bring certain information to me and stuff like that. And I usually leave them with that information because I'm like, hey, that's something you discovered. It's powerful. And I'm hoping that, they'll put it out there themselves because they're really, really good. But something like this, we need this right now. Plan to produce skilled workforce. Wow, this goes deeper than I thought. According to Ripple's director of university partnerships, the collaboration with the University of Wyoming will advance blockchain technology to facilitate real-world use cases like NFTs, CBDCs, and carbon credit markets. It's worth noting that Ripple has been trying to support blockchain-related education in many regions across the world. I'd like to elaborate on that because I don't know. I focus mostly on the banks and happenings with the banks, commercial, central bank, supervisory entities like FIS, things like that. That's mostly what I look into. IBM, LightNet, stuff like that. I try to get updates on these things. I look at the annuals, but I don't keep up too well with the university programs that, like, let's say Algorand puts theirs out there and makes it easy to find. So it's easy to keep up with what Algorand is doing with their university programs. But I haven't read too much about Ripple and their education programs around the world. So I'd like to know more about that. I don't know if any of you know more, then leave it in the comment section. I definitely peruse the comment section, and I learn a lot from you all. Greatly appreciate you leaving the comments that you do. I don't get to respond all the time. My apologies. I get to respond to a few people, but life is so busy right now. But but I do get to peruse and read. At least I'm getting educated, and I appreciate you sharing with me. I'm always willing to learn. So, okay, that's the first article. Let's move in. I know this one's going to be a long one. My apologies to everybody. Let's get into the second article. 20 minutes in. But I felt all of that was important to say, All right, so second article is on thecryptobasic.com. Okay, so they put out a bevy of great articles here. I'm just going to read a little tidbit. Make sure you head over to thecryptobasic.com to get more information and read some of these brilliant articles that they have been writing. This one is titled, New Another Delay in the Ripple versus SEC Lawsuit as Court Approves Time Extension Request Made by the Parties. So let's scroll down here and just read a little bit here. It says, the court has granted Ripple a Securities and Exchange Commission, Ripple and the Securities and Exchange Commission a 2-week time extension request to discuss and agree on the appropriate attorney's fee required to depose the supplemental rebuttal report from Dr. Albert Metz. The approval, which came through text, saw any motion, quote, any motion for attorney's fees as described in the court's April 19, 2022 order, due by May the 27th. So we want to add that date to the calendar. Due by May 27th, 2022, Attorney James Fallon said. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. So you guys can head over there and read the rest of that article if you see fit to do so. They have a lot more here to be read. All of this is inconsequential. They have less than a year. So there's going to be a lot of jousting back and forth, positioning back and forth. This is like when you have two alpha fighters, and they're going to go down swinging. This is a real war, a real battle. So I expect there to be these little petty things, giving each other as hard a time as possible. One trying to make the other quit. It's like a game of mercy. You ever interlock your fingers with your big cousin, and he does that thing like in wrestling where you bend your wrist and you try to bend his to see who's stronger. It's sort of like that. And right now I would say Ripple is winning. Honestly, they've had so many victories. In the last 2-3 months, what did the SEC have? One minor victory, and I wouldn't even consider that a victory. So things have been going extremely well. Let's go to this next article here. This is on u.today, right? And it's titled, $500 million XRP moved from FTX and other top exchanges, whale alert. Very interesting. Let's see here. It says 500. Well, let's start at the top here. It says Whale Alert tracking bot has spotted several large transfers of Ripple affiliated XRP token conducted over the past 24 hours, totaling more than 500 million coins. Whew. Can you guess why they might be doing this? Somebody knows something. They don't do this for just small reasons. 500 million coins. It says the single largest lumps transferred here totaled 120 million XRP each. One of those 120 million chunks was moved from the FTX exchange. 530 million XRP shoveled. The above mentioned platform that tracks large cryptocurrency transfers has detected 9 massive XRP transactions. A total of 120 million XRP were shifted from FTX exchange to an address marked by Whale Alert as unknown. And look, everyone's preparing for this massive run that we anticipate XRP to make. No guarantees, of course, okay? And this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not one of those channels here to tell you to do this or that. I have no interest in that at all. But everyone's getting ready for this massive parabolic run because of the central banks, because of the commercial banks. They said over 400. That was like a year ago. I'm anticipating like at least 500 banks. And that's only going to expand as other banks or supervisory entities are able to observe the positives of using the XRPL. Then they'll want to jump in. Not everyone jumps in the pool at the same time. Some people wait, they let their friends jump in first, and then they ask them, what's the temp of the water? Oh, it's warm? Okay, I'm going to get in. That's the way that it works. Okay, so they're getting ready. That's unbelievable. It says the rest of the transfers range between 50 million and 40 million XRP. They're getting ready. That's unbelievable. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.